Hi there. Today we're going to use sine rule for trigonometry function on a right angle triangle to find the missing side, the hypotenuse, and the angle. Now, first thing we need to do is when you look at a triangle, we need to be able to label them. Label them in the sense the opposite, the adjacent, and the hypotenuse. So, looking at this, we have the hypotenuse, which is always going to be the longer side, the adjacent side, which is always going to be the next to angle, and the opposite side is always the opposite to the angle. Now if you are still worried you're not able to find out, the hypotenuse will always be living right across the 90-degree. The opposite, as said, is always the opposite to the angle, and adjacent is next to the angle. Now sometimes what people try to do is trick by just changing the triangle around, and some people get unaware of this type of things and get caught up with. Example, now if I've changed the angle here, that's your opposite, 90-degree here, that's your hypotenuse, next to it the adjacent side. So those are your basic labeling. Now this is only applicable to the right angle triangle. Now next thing I'm going to show you is the formula that we are going to apply, and I'm going to show you both ways. One is using the triangle rule, basically substituting the knowns into the triangle and then finding the unknown, or using the formulas. Now let's try an example. Here says using sine rule determine the opposite side. Where is the opposite side? This is the opposite side, opposite to the angle. So you can label that's the opposite. Right across is the hypotenuse. So we are trying to find the x value. Now using the triangle, you can draw the triangle every time. So sine opposite hypotenuse going clockwise, and then going and putting the values in. So sine 30, opposite I'm not aware of, that's what I'm trying to find, and hypotenuse is 10. Now what we need to do is put this into the calculator. Note that when we go across the triangle and looking for the top unknown, let's highlight this. This is the one that I'm trying to find out. So what we do is we use black, we multiply. Now let's move on and get the answer using the trusted calculator. We want to find out what is sine 30. So sine lives here, that's your sine on your calculator, and you press the size of the angle times the 10 length, we get a negative. Hold on, there is a problem with the calculator, so always try to check the calculator. In this case my calculator wasn't set up properly, so I'll quickly set my calculator. It's set to radians. always have it set to degrees. Now if I do the same thing, let's try it. Sine 30 times 10, answer is 5, so x equals 5 cm. Now using the formula, there's only one formula you have to learn. It is sine angle is opposite over hypotenuse. We can substitute the knowns, so sine 30 is equal to x over 10. If you're good with algebra, you would know that we can do 10 times sine 30, because x is divided with 10. The opposite is we can multiply 10 across and taking it up on the other side, so x is again equal to 5 cm. This is a very simple example. It will be applicable to any of the sine rule that we need to find the opposite side. Now let's look at the other example. Here we're going to determine the hypotenuse, and again only applicable to the 90 degrees. So which side is the hypotenuse? It's always going to be opposite to the 90 degrees, and that's the angle, and right across is your opposite side. Using the triangle, always you need to do that, and then I have labeled the values, so I know what is my sine value. Sine is 30 degrees, opposite in this case is 6, and hypotenuse is x. That's what I'm trying to find. Now like before, if I was trying to find the top, I would have multiplied the bottom. Because I'm looking for the one of the bottoms, the top always divides the bottom. So here we're going to divide. Let's go and check on the calculator the possible solution. So here we're going to have 6 divided by sine 30, and your answer is 12. So x is equal to 12 cm. If I was using the formula, then I would have gone sine angle or equals to opposite over hypotenuse, and then substituting the values. Sine 30 opposite is 6 over hypotenuse, cross multiplying, so hypotenuse goes on the top, and then sine 30 divided by 6, answer is 12 cm. In this case it's x. So we have found the hypotenuse, which is 12 cm. Also note, hypotenuse is the longer side, so the answer will always be longer than the opposite side. That's something that you could be able to identify as if you do examples. Let's look at the other question, whereby we're going to use sine rule to determine the angle. Once again, I need to find the angle. So this is the angle, that's the opposite side, that's the hypotenuse because it's right across the 90 degrees. So using your triangle, and in this case when we're looking for the angle, we'll have to do one extra step. So this is sine angle, and the opposite is 6, hypotenuse is 10. What you need to do is you have to divide 6 with 10. At the same time you will have to do sine inverse, so angle here is equal to sine inverse of 6 over 10. Let's go and try this on the calculator. Please note, always use the bracket, and in sine rule the denominator will always be the hypotenuse, that is the biggest of the two numbers. Now to activate the inverse we have to press shift, so shift and sine, so you will have something like sine and a -1 as a power. Now you use bracket, easy, you can press 6 divided by 10, or you can use fraction button, either one of them will work, and therefore the answer is 36.869. I can round off my answer, so this will become 36.87 degrees. So angle is 36.87 degrees. Using the formula now, sine angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Let's put the values in. 6 over 10, so angle is sine inverse of 6 divided by 10, and your answer will still be same. Now it's your choice whichever method you prefer. Please use one of them only and do practice. Thank you very much.